Have you ever wondered what's at the southern edge of Texas? Not San Antonio, not Corpus Christi, but the tiny, almost invisible towns scattered across the map. Beyond vast fields and the winding Rio Grande, the border with Mexico, lie quiet little communities full of stories. Some with just one school, one gas station, or barely anyone at all, yet still very much alive. Today, we're not talking about big cities. We're heading into the hidden corners of South Texas, places rarely seen, but full of charm. Who knows? After watching this, you might just want to take a road trip here, or at least realize that Texas is more than cowboys and BBQ. Let's get started. First, we're at the Mexico border. Laredo isn't just any small town. It's one of the busiest border cities in America. Yet, somehow, it still feels like home to its people. With deep Spanish roots, Laredo breathes Latin culture in every corner. From the language, to the music, to the smells of its food, one of its biggest draws, the Laredo Taco Trail, a culinary journey hopping from one taqueria to another, tasting recipes passed down for generations. Here, eating isn't just about food. It's a social ritual. Despite the heavy border trade that drives the economy, the local community remains strong. There are festivals, markets, and big family dinners shared in backyards. Laredo is where the bustle of business meets the warmth of home. From the border, let's head to the Texas coast. Once a quiet fishing village where small boats docked and people lived off the sea, Port Aransas is now a favorite getaway on the Gulf Coast. Without losing its laid-back charm, the beaches are wide and soft. The vibe is all about relaxation. In the summer, you'll see families playing in the waves, fishermen quietly perched on the pier, and travelers exploring the town on bikes. But what makes Port A special is its pace of life. Here, there's no rush. Time seems to slow down. You can enjoy breakfast at a local cafe, chat with friendly locals, or simply watch the sunset with a glass of iced tea by the beach. Much like its coastal cousin, Port Aransas, Port Isabel immediately captures your heart with its seaside charm. This small coastal town is best known as the gateway to South Padre Island, crowned by a historic lighthouse that stands as its iconic symbol. From the top of the lighthouse, you can see the vast Gulf of Mexico, bustling marinas filled with boats, and a horizon that looks like a painting come to life. But Port Isabel's appeal goes beyond the views. There's a lively fish market, hardworking local fishermen, and restaurants cooking up fresh catches straight from the sea each day. Once just a humble fishing village, Port Isabel has kept its relaxed vibe despite the ebb and flow of tourists. Here, you can take a break, sit on the pier, listen to the waves crashing, and feel like time slows down just for you. Nestled at the crossroads between the lush South Texas plains and the dramatic dry lands of West Texas, Del Rio holds a hidden western charm. This is where untamed nature meets deep border history. One of the town's treasures is the Amistad Reservoir, a man-made lake that draws anglers, boaters, and nature lovers alike. Del Rio also carries that classic frontier feel: old Mexican Texan-style buildings, sprawling ranches, and rich cultural heritage. You can smell mesquite smoke from BBQ pits, watch a local rodeo, and chat warmly with friendly residents, even if you just met them. At the far western edge of South Texas, right on the banks of the Rio Grande, lies Eagle Pass. Across the river sits its twin city, Piedras Negras, Mexico. But these two towns aren't just neighbors. They're like twins separated by a border. Every day, thousands cross the international bridge. Some come to shop, others just to grab tacos or pick up electronics. Here, English and Spanish weave together seamlessly on the streets. More than a cultural crossroads, Eagle Pass is home to the Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino, one of the largest casinos in Texas, owned by the Kickapoo Native American tribe. Eagle Pass stands as a unique meeting point of local history, border life, and an economic pulse rarely seen beyond this region. Let's dive into the heart of the Rio Grande Valley, where you'll find Donna, a small town framed by sprawling fields and wide-open skies. At first glance, it looks simple, but don't be fooled. Donna carries a strong Latin spirit and a deep social history. Every winter, Donna becomes a temporary home for the winter Texans, retirees from up north chasing the sun. They settle in RV communities, join dance parties, and bring the town to life. But beneath its calm smile, Donna holds stories of solidarity, hard work, and a local identity deeply tied to the land. Still in the bustling Rio Grande Valley, San Juan stands as a small town with a big spiritual heart. Famous for the Basilica of Our Lady of San Juan del Valle, this town draws thousands of pilgrims every year. The Basilica isn't just a place of worship, it's a symbol of hope and community for the strong Latin population here. Around it, you'll find candle shops, saint statues, and food trucks selling local favorites. But San Juan is more than its religious vibe. It's a tight-knit community with lively local schools and streets that come alive every night with the laughter of playing kids. If you had to sum it up in one sentence, a town with a big soul in a small package. If you want to see the real Wild West Texas, head to Hebbronville, nestled in the South Texas brush country, surrounded by shrubs, ranches, and an endless sky. With a long history as a cattle ranching hub, Hebbronville was once one of the world's largest livestock markets. Today, rodeos and cowboy traditions remain a daily rhythm. And don't be surprised if you pop into a cafe and see folks sporting real cowboy hats, not just fashion statements. They might have just ridden in on horseback. Hebbronville is a reminder that Texas identity lives on, far from big cities and still deeply rooted. If you're driving down to the southern tip of Texas and suddenly spot a small, quiet border bridge, chances are you've arrived in Los Indios. This tiny town is actually the smallest in Cameron County, but don't let its size fool you. Los Indios plays a key role as a transit point for transmigrantes, big trucks loaded with goods heading into Central America. At first glance, it might not seem like much, but here is where the real cross-border lifelines meet and pulse. Life moves quietly here, often accompanied only by the chirping of crickets and the rumble of passing trucks. Los Indios feels like a shadow of a bigger world, where national borders don't always mean social barriers. Last but not least, we visit Alamo. Not the famous Alamo of San Antonio, but this one holds its own special place in the South Texas story. Located in the heart of the Rio Grande Valley, Alamo is the gateway to the Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge, one of the region's most important conservation areas. Each season, bird watchers and nature lovers flock here to witness rare tropical bird migrations. But for locals, Alamo is more than just a tourist spot. It's a farming community rooted in rich soil and deep culture. At the local market, you'll find fresh fruits, homemade food, and stories passed down through generations. Alamo is a small town close to nature and even closer to its people. So there you have it, a collection of small towns rarely making headlines, yet pulsing with the true heartbeat of South Texas. Here, culture, history, and everyday life walk side by side in a quiet, warm harmony. Because sometimes, it's in these remote corners that you see the most honest face of America. So, which town has you the most curious? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.